Okay, as everyone's joining us, we want to remind everyone that the meeting is recorded and we ask that everyone stay muted unless you're recognized by the chair. And to be recognized, please use the reactions button at the bottom and click on raise hand, and we will call on those in the order they're received. So we are all set, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everybody. First order of business is the open session minutes of November the 2nd. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of November 2nd as written.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Bob Jones, aye.
Sean Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay, in the next order of business, we do have a public hearing tonight. It's a liquor license transfer for the locker room to the One-Eyed Cat Enterprises, Inc., which is Roberta Bodiga and Richard Methy, doing business as Locker Room Sports Pub. Do we have anyone here from the plaintiff or from the petitioners who's going to speak?
We
their
do,
behalf?
both
I'm sorry.
Roberta and Rick are here.
Okay. So this
And,
just already. I'm
Madam
sorry. what?
Chair, I'm also here. My name is Devin Grierson. I'm representing One-Eyed Cat, Roberta Boldiga, and Richard Methy.
Okay, would you like to start then?
Sure.
While you're here, what you're doing?
Yes, so One-Eyed Cat Enterprises is going to be operating the same business that's been located at that location for, I believe, over 20 years. Roberta is going to be the manager, or is the manager. She's had over 15 years of experience in the restaurant business. She's also worked at the locker room for many years, I believe 15 years. They plan on continuing the level of service and that's been at that location for since it's been open. I also believe that David Eisenberg is also present on the Zoom meeting. He's here in support of their application. So we're here to answer any questions that the board may have. Also, Roberta is also tip certified, and she's been there. I don't believe there's been any issues in the past involving their liquor license. So as I said, we're here to answer any questions that the board may have and hopefully approve this transfer.
Okay, well, that answered my question. That was the only question I had, who was going to be tip certified. And I don't really have any other questions. John, Bob?
No, I don't have any questions.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm just wondering if we need, do we need any documentation of Roberta's certification?
We usually ask them to bring it in and drop it off, yeah, so we can have it on record. She can see Cindy about that.
Yeah, so if we just get a copy of that, I think we're,
Mhm.
I'm fine.
I
Okay, I
think
can
on
send it
behalf-
over.
I was just gonna say, I think on behalf of the board, we wish you a lot of luck.
Yeah.
And you got a good start there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I guess in order for us to finish, we need to have a motion to issue the license to the One-Eyed Cat as presented.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
I
Go ahead.
just need to have
It would
I
be
just need-
to transfer the license.
Right.
transfer the license. Okay. Oh, Jeremiah, is that you?
It is.
Oh, hello. So then the only question I have, because I can't remember, is do they have to wait until Boston okays this?
Well, I mean, Boston approves the transfer to go through smoothly. There can't be any outstanding, quarterlies or anything for the Department of Revenue.
Okay, no, I meant as far as serving alcohol.
The transfer,
Yeah,
that's a good question. It's an active license, so there shouldn't be any holds
Right.
on it that I know.
okay, just wanted to verify that, because
No.
like a new license, they have to wait until it comes
No.
back.
Yeah, unless there's something, I mean, even if there was something that they, let's say, I'm sure it's not in this case, but in other transfers, there's been some outstanding items regarding payroll or things like that.
Oh,
In fact, I went with Mr. Grierson's office one time. The transfer occurred, but then that goes to the new business, so they can hold it up in that instance.
okay.
And I believe we've supplied good standings from the Division of Unemployment Assistance and the Department of Revenue.
Then it should go through Boston right away then.
Okay,
And I also believe we need, there's two parts to this. There's the transfer and there's also the pledge of the license to Greylock Federal Credit Union.
okay.
There's
no-
There's financing, Devin?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I don't see anything about that on the application.
It is,
Or am I missing it?
We have it though.
Okay, I just didn't.
okay, it's in section 11 of the application on page 5.
You
Oh.
don't have that part.
We don't have that.
Okay.
Well, we can approve it conditional upon making
Yeah.
sure we have everything together,
Why is this not working?
right? Jeremiah?
Well, I think what the board can do is authorize the chair to sign that.
Okay. Okay, Sean, Bob, you okay with that?
Yes.
I am, yeah.
Okay,
So
somebody want,
you need, do you need a motion to transfer the license first?
I guess, and authorize the chair to sign.
I'd make a motion to approve the transfer of license from the locker room to One-Eyed Cat Enterprises. With the conditions of the tip certification from Roberta Boldiga and authorize the chair to sign the financing document.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
is that,
I think that's okay.
does that work, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
John Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. You're all set. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay. Public comments.
I just want to give everyone a minute, but I do not see any hands at this point. So
Okay.
looks like we are good.
Okay, and let's move right along. First part of our general business is Berkshire Gas Permit at 276 East Street. From one side of street to the left side of house, install new gas service. That's the first one we have.
Yeah,
Let's see.
we can take them because there's a second one that came in
Yeah.
just before.
Yeah, I found it after. It's been approved. This first one has been approved by the police department, signed off by the DPW.
Right. Yeah, and they note these to attempt boring for all blacktop areas, because I think that's always a question that we kind of have, but
Right,
on the plan. I'll make a motion to approve the application for gas permit to install new gas service at 276 East Street from other side of street to left side of house.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
John Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay, and the second one is at 7274 Columbia Street to install new gas service. It's also signed off by the DPW and approved by the police department. There's a detail required that's been, if in the road.
Hmm.
So, we look at the third page. Retired service T. It looks like it's not in the road. Although I'm not sure.
The retired service T.
That, it looks like it's on the edge of the road.
They're
Yeah,
going from the sidewalk.
yeah, under the sidewalk, yeah.
So I can't tell if they need borings or not, but I know they've been pretty efficient in checking it before they do.
Mhm.
Beware of approximate part of that.
Zippy
Retired
spoke to
ser-
them. Zippy spoke to them and said, and they said they were going from the sidewalk in towards the house.
Okay, well, maybe that's why the arrow's pointing there, and it just looked like there was something underneath the road, but maybe it's there already and they're not changing that. It's just,
Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Because the dashed line is typically the proposed installation. And
Okay.
the solid is existing services.
okay. So does anybody have any problems with this?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the application for a gas permit to install new gas service at 72 and 74 Columbia Street.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Sean Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay. The next item of business is, I think we've all had a copy of the Sandy Beach agreement with Highland Farm
Yes.
to look over. My understanding, this is a pretty standard agreement that we sign every year. With Highland Farm.
I don't know that I'd say that, but
No?
I think
No.
this is new, correct?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, some aspects of it are new.
some
So
aspect.
Okay.
it is, we've always added Hylon to our insurance, which the agreement requires.
Right.
What this is specifying is that we're in, which is a little different, is that we would agree to indemnify them if any claims made. And we've also, we're releasing as a contingency for the agreement, we're releasing any claims that we have or had or ever will have now until the end of time, which, you know, is the typical legalese for that. So there are some facets to this that are a little bit more poignant than what we've usually done.
Mhm.
And what are your thoughts on that, Jeremiah?
We don't own the land. I mean, we don't
Yeah.
have much, we don't have much bargaining sway here. So, I mean, what I think you're seeing is the product of Highland saying, hey, should we have anything in place to their attorney, and their attorney sent this to you. So it's a little different than what we've done, but we've always added Highland to the insurance. It does recite what I think is understood between both parties, is that this is a recreational use, so there is no liability because it's open to the public. We don't charge a fee.
Right.
That's been suggested in the past, and the minute you charge a fee, you're not protected by the recreational use statute, so it's not a good idea.
I did read that, so,
Not worth it.
I mean, I'm sure Highland just looking out for their own liability too, you know. Bob, Sean, did you have any?
And I should just to finish out the thought that we've never had a problem, and I don't expect one, adding them to our insurance.
Right.
Maya doesn't have a problem with us doing that.
Okay,
This does say that them or their designee. I don't know who else the designee would be, but for now, it's just Highland.
okay. So Bob, Sean, do you have any thoughts on this?
I don't have any further thoughts, no.
No, I think if it's not impacting what we have been doing, I'd say I have no problem with it whatsoever.
There was one hand, Madam Chair, from Peg Byron. I don't know if she put her hand down at this point, but that was the only hand I saw up. I don't know if you have anything, Peg.
She's muted.
I'm muted. No, I didn't. I was trying to get my hand up. Thank you. Thanks. Sounds great.
Okay, you're all right with that, Peggy?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions, Chris?
I do not see any other hands at this point. So,
Okay. All right, if we're all set with that, I'd appreciate a motion to sign the public recreation lease with Highland Farm.
I'll make a motion that we sign the public recreation lease with Highland Farm for next year.
Let me just, oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd second that motion. Do we all need to sign, or is this to authorize? the
No.
chair?
I was just, I think you can authorize the chair to sign. There's only place for one signature.
So if Bob just adds that to his motion, you'll be fine.
Okay, I move that we sign, that we authorize Patty to sign the public recreation lease with Highland Farm for Sandy Beach.
Second.
All those in favor?
Bob Jones, aye.
John Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay,
All right. You
all
guys
right.
Need me for anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You don't have anything better to do? You don't want to listen?
I want to stay here all night.
No, I don't think so, Jeremiah.
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Good night.
Good night. We have Tri-Town Health, Jim Willis, you're up.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Chris, and those on Zoom. Jim Willis, Director of Tri-Town Health Department. We put a request into all three of our membership towns to see if we're able to capture some short-term ARPA funding. And I did send out a letter with the request kind of highlighting what the plan of attack is going to be for what we're attempting to do. We're trying to get this national accreditation, which is called the FDA Retail Food Standards. And it's a little bit of a heavy lift in order to get this accreditation. And, as we achieve this standard, it's going to open up a lot of funding opportunities for the future. For example, for those that are accredited across other states, they qualify for a $100,000 a year grant to offset operational costs. And so it's really a short-term request to yield long-term gains. And if there's any specific questions related to the FDA retail food standards, I'm definitely open to talking about that. And it's something we've been trying to work on the last few years, and it's just a lot of work and a lot of administrative. And the goal is to hire someone that's going to help me achieve that accreditation over the next couple of years. And it's an exciting time in public health. There's going to be a lot of funding opportunities coming down the pike, and this national standard is one of many workforce development standards that the state is looking for as we build regional systems. Tri-Town being the oldest health district in the state, we wrote the playbook on regionalization and shared services and sustainability. It's just, we're seeking a little bit of money to hire someone to get up and running and kind of work on that. Lennox and Stockbridge already approved it. It's just waiting on the town of Lee.
Thanks, Jim. And just so people understand that, what you're asking for is monies that are part of the ARPA grant funding signed by the president a few months ago. Have I got that right?
Yes, yeah.
Not coming out of your taxes. And
No.
if I read it correctly, it sounds like eventually it will be whoever signs up for it, it will be a yearly match or a yearly funding source that seems like it's going to stay. Like it's not going to be here for a couple of years and then gone. But
There's a lot going on, Madam Chair. You know, there's ARPA money coming down that each municipality is getting. There's potential legislative bills that's going to open up more public health ARPA funding down the road. The FDA is offering significant funding for these, you know, to sustain this FDA grant. It's
That's
just, you know, and the goal would be to, you know, we are putting in a request, you know, each year, but if the
Mhm.
floodgates start to open up and we start to be able to capture other funding, we won't need this request anymore further along. It's really to get us up and running. But there's a lot of opportunities coming down the pike because, you know, Massachusetts is the only state in the union that actually doesn't get any funding from the state to fund public health. Massachusetts is very unique, and there's a lot of inequities in Massachusetts where, you know, if you don't have money in your town, you don't get a public health program. And so finally, the pandemic has really shined the light on the inequities and weaknesses of the local public health workforce structure, albeit Tri-Town is still light years ahead of many towns. We can still do a better job. And you're absolutely right, Madam Chair. This is the ARPA request funding that we're not going to be going to town meeting to ask for this as part of the budget process. It's really a short-term investment from an additional source to yield long-term gains. And the amount of money that could be coming in to offset will really offset the taxes later on if we're successful, which I know we will be.
Okay. Sean, Bob?
Yeah, how does this impact your operating budget?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
No, these are specific ARPA dollars that we're going to ask to utilize and not affect the operating budget.
Gotcha. And Lise, just so that everybody's clear, you're requesting $70,000, which Lee's chunk is $23,100. And again, that's
Yes.
all from ARPA funds.
Yep.
Not, okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense to me.
Bob?
Oh, that makes sense to me as well.
Okay. Are we ready to vote?
You need a motion to approve the
Yeah.
Tri-Town. I'll make a motion to approve the Tri-Town Health Board's request for ARPA funds for Lee totaling $23,100. Is that?
I think that's correct. Right, Jim?
Sounds great to me. Thank you.
Bob, you gonna second that? Oh, sorry.
I'll second it, yes.
All those in favor?
Sean Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay, Jim, good luck.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Bye.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have the CANA provisions impact fee agreement. I know most people are aware that when they signed a host community agreement, CANA provisions, as well as the other entities that have since gotten licensed, signed contracts to pay an additional up to 3% of an impact fee to the town, as well as they are paying sales tax to the state, and we still receive the 3% of that. But over the last year and a half, it's come to our attention, as well as other towns, that the impact to our town by CANA provisions hasn't really been what people thought it would be. And legislation is probably going to take place pretty soon that will take that ability to tax the CANA provisions and others like them, the additional 3%. Now, so having said that, we've already taken in just under 500,000 since Can Provisions opened up. We have that sitting in our accounts. And what we've done is we've kind of identified where an impact from the business could be. And we've been dealing with Eric Williams because he was the first one and he's the only one that's paid money so far as to what we could use the money for. And we've come up with a list. And I don't know if Bob and Sean, I think you've had a chance to look it over,
Yeah,
see what your thoughts are on this, to see if you're okay with this money. And if you have any questions or people have questions, then that's what we're here for.
yeah, I've had a chance to review this with, and I've gone through it with Chris. I think that it's definitely an exercise in just trying to work together and with the industry and come up with come up with a sort of agreed upon set of criteria on both parties that we can kind of come to an agreement on. And I really appreciate Canna's willingness to work with us, and I think the funding of the school resource officer is a huge thing for the community. And I'd be interested in, how, as other companies kind of can't come online, do we have any other ideas for, ways to kind of educate the community and to be more proactive about substance abuse and awareness and those sorts of programs. I think that's a big issue for a lot of communities, and ours isn't any different. So I think that those sorts of things go a long way. So that's what I'm happy about for the most part. And I think that for the most part, it makes sense, and we'll kind of take this in stride and see how we progress on it.
Right. No, I thought it was a very good engagement with Canna being the first to contribute money, to pay money and to go into it. And you're right, I would much rather see us come to an agreement with our cannabis facilities and owners on something that they feel is good for the town as well as them, rather than being a push and shove over monies that we may or may not collect on. So I was very happy with the list and the way it came out.
Madam Chair, did you want me to read some of the things on there, or?
If you'd like, Chris, why don't you do that?
Yeah, so it included some things that were specific to Canna, but most of them would be just in general that would affect any retailers or any permit holders, I should say. And that included some maintenance on the sidewalk area specific to Canna, but also some additional signage that we're going to be talking about next that they were looking to provide for the town as a resource for people that will be coming through town related to this. Some additional public safety money in the form of the school resource officer and a police co-respondent, a social worker that looking to fund, as well as a feasibility study on our public safety buildings as well in town. So, and in addition to that, some upgrades to some of our crosswalk lighting as well in the downtown area. So number of things on there. Oh, and also additional lighting on Housatonic Street, and that was specific to Canna Provisions. But so those are some of the things on the list. And 4 of those will continue every year. And they've also agreed in there for an additional $30,000 a year that could be used for an additional impact project, which, you know, would be discussed on a yearly basis. So.
Yeah, yeah, so that leads me to, you know, we can make this agreement, and then as other businesses come online, it'll affect things, and we can kind of change it year to year. Makes sense. That
Right.
perspective.
It may get to where everybody's open and they're all funding the same thing at
Right.
a rate that would be good for us because we get it funded, but it'd also be good for them and their bottom line. So hopefully this is something that we'll go into, and it'll keep going and on for the next however long the businesses are here.
Yeah, and I think it's important to stress, you know, I think we mentioned it, or somebody did, but that this is as it relates to the host community agreement, which is not the full tax money that the town is
Right.
collecting. So
Right.
we have the 3% sales tax in place, and that we're sort of amending the host community agreement to come up with the, you know,
To reflect what the impacts really are.
correct. Yeah, that's well said.
That's the biggest thing. And I don't think we even understood it 100% when it first started, but most people, it wasn't like we can just take this money and spend it any way we want. It has to be spent because it's an impact having the business here. And to the best of our ability, this is what we did, and the businesses agreed. They're not responsible for what happens, but they're part of it, and they're willing to fund these items.
Just want to
So,
mention, this is a very proactive approach. We have towns all over the Commonwealth that are reacting to this right now in various different ways. The Haverhill case is, you know, in progress right now over this. We have some towns, again, that have used money and they're trying to get it back, and so forth. But this is a very good proactive approach that I think puts us in a better position.
I agree. And there are some towns that have already done away with the impact fee because they found there's no impact and they didn't do anything about it. But I think we're hitting middle of the road, and I think we're, as you said, Chris, being proactive for our town. So unless someone else has a question or objections, I would ask for a motion to accept the Cannabis Community Impact Fee Agreement with Canna Provisions.
And to
Yeah,
authorize the chair to sign.
yeah, I was just gonna say
Okay.
that. I'll make a motion to accept the Cannabis Community Impact Fee Agreement with Canna Provisions and authorize the chair to sign the agreement.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
John Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Oh, so now we have a picture of the sign that's going to be funded with one of the things that's going to be funded with that money. Sean, Chris, do you have a picture that you could share?
Yeah, should be coming up right now. We
got it.
also have Chief Brown here as well, who is kind of spearheading this. This is one of the projects that that would be funded through the impact funds, the Cannabis Impact Fund. So I don't know if you want to mention anything specific, Ryan, but everybody should have a screen share of this, which is a digital sign.
It'll be located out in front of somewhere in front of the fire station, correct?
Fire station, yes.
Yeah.
Did you want to mention anything, Ryan? Or-
I could just say a few things, Chris. I wasn't really prepared to talk, but this concept came about a number of years ago and we tried to find a way to make it work. we went to the planning board. And because the intent of it was a government message board for the community, for a way for the emergency services, town clerk, select board to talk to the community, the planning board gave us the go-ahead to proceed. I just think it's going to be a good addition to our main street. It's not going to be horribly gaudy. It's going to be built to look like it fits with Central Fire Station. And it's going to be a good tool for public postings and public emergency information, public comment information for us to get it out. And I'm excited that this may become a reality by next summer. That's all I had to add.
Thank you, Ryan. And if I understand this correctly, it will have remote access from the town hall and the fire department to put up, as Ryan said, messages that might have to do with anything from a town meeting announcement to a public safety issue that we want to do, and be able to access that pretty much instantly from anywhere on the web. But
Chris, yeah, the design that we went with, excuse me, we'll be able to limit who can access it, but the intent would be public safety, and it's basically the town clerk, and all pertinent data should be put through them and screened, whether it's actually a government function statement or not, and then it could hit the board. But you're right, it would be accessible by the clerk's office, the select board office, fire, police, DPW.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan. Any other questions on that? Am I still on?
No questions here.
Okay,
No, I don't have anything further.
okay. So the next order of business is an appointment for a firefighter EMT appointment.
yeah, Madam Chair, we may, and I'll let, if either of the planning board members that are here want to, chime in, feel free, but we may just want to get a vote that it's okay on that sign, since it's a municipal
Directory.
use rather than, a sign that would fall under the planning board, that the select board is in favor of that.
Mm.
Okay, so what do you want us to do? Let the planning board know we're in favor of that? Because do they have to go back for permission from the planning board?
No,
I thought
they kind of, because it
Did
was
it-
municipal, sent it your way. So just as a formality, I think would be good while we're here to just have that voted on. So,
Oh, okay,
because it doesn't fall under our normal zoning for signage. So,
right. So do
No,
we
I-
need to that effect, Chris, or?
yeah, that would be,
So I guess,
motion to approve the installation of that sign.
that's what I was.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the installation of the digital sign in front of the fire department on Main Street for the purposes of municipal use and communication.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Excuse me.
Sean Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay, we made it official. Okay, now we'll move on to the firefighter EMT appointment. I don't know, is Ryan still on? Does he want to say anything, or just, we've gotten his recommendation to appoint
Looks like a
Tiffany
part-time,
Hardage.
yeah.
Tiffany Hardage, yep, as a part-time EMT.
Mhm.
That's correct, yep. And she's been in the EMS field for 5 years in Western Massachusetts and is an
Right.
EMT.
And she's expressed her interest in working part-time as needed for the town of Lee in similar capacity. So upon Ryan's recommendation, I would entertain a motion to appoint Tiffany.
I'm just a point. It says on the front sheet that her name is Tiffany Hartage, but on the second sheet, it's Hartledge with an L.
Oh,
So I'm not sure.
oh, you're right. Well, let's find out what her name is and make sure we put the appointment correct.
Going by the application Hartledge, it's for the,
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes,
the L was omitted on the cover letter.
Okay,
From, yeah.
so it's Tiffany Hartledge.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Tiffany Hartledge to the position of firefighter EMT for the Lee Department.
second,
All those in favor?
Bob Jones, aye.
Sean Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Welcome, Tiffany. Okay. Next order of business is we have a police officer appointment. We have 2 letters from Chris to the person being appointed based on Craig's recommendation. I don't know, is Craig on tonight, Chris?
He's not able to make it tonight. There's actually a police conference that he's at
Oh, okay,
right now. So, but I can just speak for
Okay.
for him if you'd like.
why don't you?
Yeah, so Officer Sneezek is coming to us from the Massachusetts State Police. He's a full-time officer there. The main things that we'll be approving with this appointment is to that he receive his vacation credit as well as his educational credits. As you know,
Uh-oh.
was where he left off from the state police. So
You glitched out there a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
As you were
sorry,
saying, educational credit, I think.
yeah, so we would be starting him on step 3 and as opposed to step 1, so we'd be recognizing his time with the state police.
Right.
And he also has a associate's degree, and I believe working on a double major in liberal arts and criminal justice. So I think the criminal justice party is 1 credit away, I believe. So we wanted to honor that for his pay as well.
okay. Craig seems to be very well satisfied with Officer, how do you pronounce his last name? I want to make sure.
Oh, Sneezek?
Sneezek, okay. And we've taken some of the same steps when we do a major hire and give credit to people who have been in the job for a certain number of years and
Right.
earned certain time and education, so. Does anyone have any other questions regarding Officer Sneezek? The one good thing, he's all trained. We don't have to send him to school. He's all set to go. No?
I don't have
hear
any.
any. Okay, then I'd ask for a motion to approve of Craig's recommendation of police officer Joseph Sneezek.
Yeah, I move that we accept the appointment, the recommendation for the officer Joseph Sneezek to the position on the Lee Police Department.
And if I'm not oh, I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm just going to second it.
Okay, so I have one question. Did I read correctly? He starts tomorrow? Chris?
It's effective tomorrow, yes.
Okay,
Upon the
he's
vote.
ready to go.
It's about to happen, yes.
Okay,
I think, yeah, I'm just double checking the letter here. Yeah, so his appointment will be effective tomorrow after this vote.
okay. All those in favor?
John Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Welcome aboard, Officer Sneesick. Okay, then we have an appointment for Sealer of Weights and Measures. It's one of those jobs that, 100 people turn out, they want to apply, and then they find out it doesn't pay any money, so nobody wants it. I'm only fooling. There is a $500 stipend per year that goes with this. But we finally have someone who has applied, and he is from Lee, and he right now
It's per
works.
month, sorry, just a correction. It was per month, so it's about
I'm sorry,
roughly
500
5
a
to
month.
6,000 a year. Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
definitely not a full-time job, but
Right. And so we've had an application from Josh Hickson, who currently works for the town in the wastewater division. And yes, there's a monthly stipend of $500. And that's all there is to it. I believe he's the only one that applied, correct?
yeah, this is a position that has been vacant for almost 2 years, actually.
Yeah.
So and it's been posted several times
Right.
as well, but a tough position to fill. So I believe it's since 2019, we've had to, just to get the new scales and so forth ready, we've had to hire out to some other
Yes.
towns or with the state, just to kind of creep by at this point, so.
Right, because they
And
also
this
have something-
appointment, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just say they also have something to do with the gas stations. Because we had somebody come in out of town that came to the local gas stations because we didn't have a sealer of weights and measures. And I don't know exactly what. it is
Right. Yeah, so Jerry Cahalan, when he, I think, moved out of Massachusetts, that's the last time
Yeah.
we had a full-time, or not full-time, but a regular appointed person for
Right.
that. So they would be doing the gas pumps, any kind of scales, like at the grocery store, if you're measuring, they're weighing out fruit or vegetables, those type of things, and scanners at our retail stores. So those are the
Yeah.
main things, so.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or concerns? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion that we appoint Josh Hickson as sealer of weights and measures for the town of Lee.
Second,
All those in favor?
Bob Jones, aye.
John Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay. All right, Peter Hoffman, is he out there? We're going to talk about litter signs and cigarette collectors.
Oh, just unmute, Peter.
Muted Peter.
Good evening. I was unable to print out a picture of the signs in case you're not familiar with the litter signs, but here's the one, if you can see it, that's on Stockbridge Road, right near Devon Road.
Mhm.
We have, they were supposed to be 8. We have 7 signs up now. One of them on Golden Hill Road was stolen. We have purchased 5 replacements. And I went around town with Zach from the DPW and we agreed on locations. And Zach agreed also to install the signs with something that would be harder to undo. Right now, signs are typically put on with regular bolts and nuts, and he's going to use something else, so they'll need a torque wrench to get it off. So our proposal is for Golden Hill Road, right near Route 20, for Maple Street both ways between Graylock and East Street. Unbelievable bad road for litter. Fairview on the Route 102 end, that's less developed, and there's a long stretch of Fairview that has no houses, and that's bad. And Marble Street on the Park Street end. So one of the questions the select board might ask is, do these do any good? And it's really hard for us to say whether they do any good or not. But at least they send a message to people who are traveling through town that Lee cares about keeping the town clean. So we would like, there are other roads, Church Street, always a problem. I did Summer Street with Father Brian a couple of months ago, and the High Lawn Farm side of Summer Street at that end where there aren't any houses is fine, but across the street, it was terrible. So we would like to put more signs up and hope that you agree that this is not that this is a good use of town funds and town staff to put them up. We do our best trying to keep the roads clean. We have our monthly cleanups and the annual cleanup, and we're probably close now to 1,500 bags of trash and recyclables that we've picked up over the last several years. It's 250 bags just in the last fiscal year. And given COVID and everything, we're not getting in as many people out as we had before. So that's the sign issue. The butt issue, in case you haven't noticed, this is a butt collector. This was approved by the select board. Your butt stops here. This was approved by the select board. Before we put them up, we had several. We had one outside Morgan House before there was an accident and it knocked the street lamp down that our butt collector was attached to. We've got one outside Timothy's. We've got one near the stairs of the parking lot behind the first row of Main Street stores. We have one outside Bucky's, although sometimes we think people who smoke there would much prefer to flick the butts right on the ground underneath the butt collector than to put them in the butt collector. And we have one near Joe's Diner. The proposed locations we have now are to replace the one from the Morgan House. Pat, you had asked if we could put one near that small park near Joe's Diner, and I talked with Zach about it, and there is a place where we can put one there. One of the issues with that is that the health department does not want a butt collector closer than 10 feet to a bench or a door, because Jim thinks that having a butt collector would encourage people to smoke. So we comply with his. So we measure. We have a measuring tape when we put them up, and all the butt collectors we put up are that far away. We might want to put one by the post office, which is really bad. And we had wanted to put one on Housatonic Street, perhaps near Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. But we learned that the State Department of Transportation handles that, and it's just not worth going through the hassle of dealing with them.
Okay.
So the question you will ask maybe is, are these butt collectors worth it? We have collected and recycled well over 1,000 butts since we put these in. And it could be close to 2,000 by now, but that's 1,000 butts that aren't showing up on Lee's downtown streets. So we think it's worth it.
Okay.
And those are the two key things that were on the agenda. If I could just add one more thing, I mean, I have others, but you've had a long night. We received notice yesterday that our grant application to the Department of Environmental Protection was approved. An authorized representative from the town must sign it. Chris Ketchen had signed the application when he was here. I'm sure you all have made arrangements to authorize someone else to sign grants and contracts and agreements. But I did send a copy of that to both Cindy and to Chris. So if we can get that back, that would be great. And the funds from that are going to be used to pay for our third water bottle filling station, which will be on the corner of Main Street and Frank Consolati Drive. I've already talked to Al Zerbato about the location, and it'll go up in the spring. And I'll just mention, the grants aren't that big, but they're really helpful for us. And DEP is changing the grant program, and we hope that we can do enough to warrant a larger grant in the future.
And I did get those papers, Peter, and they'll be all set for you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris.
You're doing a great job, Peter. I applaud all the people who are trying to keep our town clean.
Thank you very much.
So I guess as far as
yeah.
I'm concerned, you have approval. Sean, what do you
No,
feel
I
about?
Yeah, you said, I'm just curious, how much does a sign cost? Does one of these litter signs?
I really,
Roughly.
maybe $50 or less.
Okay, yeah, and you're putting up a
5
number
of them.
more. Yeah, I definitely support your effort on that. I think whatever we can do and to decrease litter, because it's a good thing. And I was going to ask when's the next sort of Saturday cleanup? You do it monthly, right?
They're always the last Saturday of the month.
Right.
So it's on the 27th, I guess, of November. And in the winter, we do them from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. We meet at the Quonset hut.
Mhm.
And we've had some new people come. We've had some young kids who come with their family. And there's just a lot of stuff out there. It's really frustrating. One of the volunteers drafted a letter which he was too embarrassed to send into the newspaper because it's really honest. And one of the things, I'll just take 30 seconds. On the one hand, most people don't litter where their lawns. So they're very considerate, but it's a mess elsewhere. And so we were going to send a letter in telling people who litter, please finish your drinks, because it takes us time to unscrew the bottle top, pour out the liquid, put the bottle tap back on. So just finish the drink. Don't put any litter in a paper bag, because we have to empty the bag to figure out what's in there till we can separate it appropriately. Don't throw things really far. Just lay them down by the side of the road. Don't try to test your arm, because we have to go into the woods and everything and get ticks to clean up. And that would make cleaning up your litter a lot easier. But it can be frustrating. I mean, Maple Street is terrible. Stockbridge Road is always terrible. Church Street always has stuff on it. West Road always has stuff on it. It's really too bad. And I hope people see that we care somewhat, and we're trying to keep the town presentable and enjoyable for everybody. But it's an ongoing struggle.
Thanks, Peter. No, I definitely applaud your efforts, and I've been a part of a cleanup crew previously, and I'll come back again soon.
Wonderful. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.
Bob, you all set?
All set. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we did have a couple of questions that came in from the Town Administrator Search Committee update, which I think they've had, Chris, you can probably tell me, but I think they've had 3 meetings now.
I believe it's 4. They have another one coming tomorrow, so.
All right, okay. And they're getting around to getting down to the job description, and that'll be coming out soon. But they had 2 questions. The first of which they wondered about the salary range. And we haven't really talked about that yet, but as a board, but I would suggest that our salary range will probably be, I think it might be step 6. at least a step 6, which is the same step as fire chief, police chief, interim town manager. If not 6, then it's 7, but there's a range between, I don't know how many years. So I would suggest that that's probably what will go on.
Mhm.
And if Sean and Bob, if you agree with that, if not, that's fine. And then the other thing they asked was, would moving expenses be allowed if someone needed them? Would we? And I just, my own mind thought, that's always something we can talk about. If we get someone that's
Yeah.
needs that accommodation. So I just say it's not out of the question.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But those
Right,
are the
yeah.
only 2 questions they had, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that both of those sort of are gonna be determined by the candidate. I'm definitely willing to entertain accommodating, relocation fees for sure if it seems necessary, and the range, I did talk to Lindsay about this too, so I'm not sure if, it seems like, yeah, the step 6, step 7 seems appropriate.
I didn't get a chance to talk to Lindsay, and I wasn't sure what the top step was, whether it was 6 or 7, but
Right. So that seems, I don't know if, do we, I spoke to her a little bit about the actual salary numbers. I'm not sure if that's appropriate at this point to get into, but
yeah, it doesn't hurt, but they just want to have a range, so
yeah,
she can probably help us on that.
yeah, I think that, she was sort of, the range that she kind of put out there was about, 80 to maybe 95 being the higher end, which seems appropriate. But again, I don't know that we should, I don't know. I don't know what never having done this before. I don't know what quite
Right.
the appropriate.
Well, I do
thing to
know
do here.
somewhere, I'm sorry, somewhere,
Mhm.
and it's been since Chris Ketchen has been here. We've done it in the past, but you know how that we upgrade every couple of years, the pay scale and the pay ranges.
Right.
So we've got one that's probably not older than 2 years somewhere. We'll find it and find out what those ranges were. And if they're still within that range, okay. If not, we probably need to look at that again.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to Lindsay myself and see if we can come up with that. I know there's a document probably on my desk somewhere here, so we'll get it. And Chris, I don't think they, I'm sorry, Chris, I don't think they had any other questions, did they?
Those were the only 2 I'm aware of. Yeah.
So
They
do
were
we
just
know
asked to pass that along to you guys. So.
when do they meet again, Chris? Tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe that it is posted for tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And are they meeting, they're meeting in person at the courtroom?
I believe
In the selectman's office, they've been meeting in
Oh.
person.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
All right, we'll get them that information as soon as we can, okay. Okay, now we have a Lee Youth Commission appointment. Oh, no, we have 2, okay. Janet Warner for a 3-year term. Is Janet on tonight?
I do not see her here tonight.
Okay, she's probably in another meeting. But I guess she's the only one whose term is up this right now. So I'd entertain a motion to appoint Janet Warner to a 3-year term on the Lee Youth Commission.
I'll make the motion to appoint Janet Warner to the 3-year term for the Lee Youth Commission.
Again.
All those in favor?
Bob Jones, aye.
John Renier, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Okay. Okay, now under that, Chris, I have Christopher Britton and Kathy Hall. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or on the agenda, Kathy's the next one up.
Yep. And we have Kathy here, so.
Yeah, here
Okay.
I am. Okay, three things to report on. First of all, the seesaw that was broken at the toddler playground has been fixed and has been reinstalled by members of the DPW. So we're very thankful for them to get this all done for our little toddlers because they love the seesaw. So don't some older children shouldn't be on it. But at any rate, it is very solid and very safe. So we're very thankful. Then we have information from Barbara Heller from Barry Dunn, and you just received that yesterday because I just received it yesterday. But it deals with the demographic profile and the engagement summary. The engagement summary just goes over what was discussed at the public meeting on November 3rd. The demographic profile is quite concise in terms of things that they're looking at in terms of demographics, the average income, average ages, things of that nature. And those two things will be included in their final information for us to present to the town. Right now, they've almost completed doing a similar provider analysis for existing recreational opportunities in the town of Lee and surrounding areas. And they are working on elements of the market analysis. So if you've looked at it and want to ask me some questions, go ahead. I don't know how much I can answer at this point because I've been trying to go through it myself, but it's very interesting because they took some information and put it in their own categories of extremely young. Let me see if I can find this piece of paper in front of my face here.
Kathy, I think I just picked up my packet today.
Yeah.
So I
right.
just received it today. I did read through it before the meeting tonight. I guess right now, my question to you is, do you have an idea of when we're going to hear about the financial implications of this?
I'm not 100% sure. Barbara keeps telling me that they hope they have everything done by January.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's just the marketing analysis or it's also going to include the financial one. But what they've done is try to put things in categories of youth, young adult, adult, active adult, and senior, so that they can establish what really is needed in the town based on the demographics of the ages, of people within the town. The average age is, I think, 44, 45, something like that. Yeah. And the third thing is that we think we're ready to put up the ice rink. And we do need volunteers, and we're hoping to get that done on Saturday, December 4th, starting at 9:30. So if you're available at 9:30, that would be great, but this takes several hours. So anytime after 9:30 would also be appreciated for people to come and help do that. So I think that's it for my report.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Kathy?
No, I don't.
I'm also, I picked my packet up today as well, but I will read through it.
Okay. So the last thing that we have came in kind of late is from the Conservation Commission,
I mentioned that.
who is also looking for members, like all of our boards. So anybody who has an interest, just call our office and we'll get you in touch with the Conservation Commission. And also we'll put it on the website.
Yeah, this is an appointed board, right, Patty?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Yeah, and I think it's,
Also well paying, Sean. I want everybody to be aware of that.
yeah,
But it's a very important board.
no, that's what I was gonna say. I think, they do a lot of great work, reviewing, plans for, different
Everything.
setbacks for wetlands and the like, and other things that impact our town. So I think it's definitely an important thing that we could use.
Yeah.
Obviously, we could use more people there, so.
Right. Okay, so we have no pending business on the agenda. Do we have anything from our town administrator, Chris?
Yeah, just a couple updates. There was a question at the last meeting about the master plan as well as the open space and recreation plan. I've been in touch with Berkshire Regional Planning. We should have a proposal to actually do both of those jointly, which will work out well because the open space and recreation is kind of part of the master plan. So they're going to look at combining those two plans, and I should hopefully have a proposal for the December meeting to bring to this board. At that point, the select board will need to decide if we want to go with that proposal and how we would appoint a steering committee for that. Ultimately, whoever the steering committee would work with Berkshire Regional Planning in this case, and then the final plan would get approved by the planning board. So I'll have more on that hopefully in the next meeting. Again, just waiting to hear back from them. Also, just a couple office updates. We moved a few things around to try to better accommodate the residents of Lee, and all of the tax payments and so forth can now all be taken care of on the first floor. We've also combined planning and zoning with building, so there'll always be somebody available in that office as well now, which was not previously the case. So I think that'll work out well. More things we'll be working on in the future related to that. And also conservation is now upstairs as well. So I also met with VFW today, and I just wanted to pass along. It is going to be their 100th anniversary of the Lee VFW next year in 2022. So I should have some information from them. They're hoping to do a few things to celebrate that 100th year, and just a heads up that there's a couple ideas that they'll be probably bringing to the board in the future. So also a few months ago, we had a representative here talking about the peaker plant on Woodland Ave. And I attended a meeting with the company that was a Zoom meeting with the company that runs that. And it looks like that should be switched over to battery by the end of 2023 is what it's looking at. So some good news there, that going from, I believe it's either diesel or I believe it's
Kerosene.
Kerosene currently to a battery plant, which would be much better emissions. So I just wanted to follow up with that. And then lastly, just a reminder that we do still have opportunity for anyone who wants to participate in the survey on ARPA funding that's on the website. It'll be up. I believe it comes down on Christmas Eve is the last day that'll be open. So on the 24th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Bob, Sean, do you have anything else for tonight?
No.
No?
I'm very excited to hear the progress with the peaker plant, Chris. I was kind of involved in some meetings to kind of grasp and see if there was a way that we could change that situation there, because kerosene's a very it creates a lot of fine particulates. It's a heavy polluter right there. So, and that's right in our town. So it's good to see that we're making some progress there. And I know it seemed like the last meeting that I was a part of, they were, committed to looking at renewable or cleaner, I guess, energies. Battery storage isn't really renewable, but it definitely doesn't pollute the air like kerosene does. So that, and to have transition in 2 years, that's great news. So awesome.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll say our next regular meeting will be December the 7th at 7 o'clock. And right now it's planned to be by Zoom. We'll just keep an eye on what the health department's doing over the next month or two. In the meantime, everyone have a lovely Thanksgiving and a happy and healthy one with possibly no snow, if we can work that in. Other than that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
John Renier, aye.
Bob Jones, aye.
Pat Carlino, aye. Thank you very much and good evening.
Evening.
Good night.